Welcome to Montrose Makerspace today for March 4th, 2015. It's been about 30 minutes this morning with Virgil at the City of Montrose. I gave him a little update about our progress, and I told him about Kern actually leaving his old company and moving all of his office right over to the Makerspace. And Kern was interested to hear that news for a couple fronts. One, Virgil at the City of Montrose has a business arrangement with Kern's former employer, as well as all the new things that we're getting involved in at the Makerspace. I also gave him a status on our status update for the Makerspace and what we've been doing for the last couple weeks. And I talked to him, for about 30 minutes, and that was a good conversation to have. I think I need to keep Virgil apprised of what's going on a little bit more. I did after that. I called Kern, and he was, in fact, moving. Yesterday he got all his things packed up at his old office about 5:15. His commitment there was over, and this morning he got on the Makerspace bandwagon. Yay! Kern is good. We pulled him in. So, let me see. I came down here to work for the Solar Test Lab here. And they have this, I worked there all afternoon, basically. They have a triggering issue with their flash tester. Their flash tester at a solar test lab is it's basically this giant flash that simulates the sun, and they can control it. And then they put the PV panels in this controlled room, and they flash it, and then they do an IV sweep, a voltage current power sweep of the panel in about 40 milliseconds. And they can determine the power output from a panel in a very controlled fashion. So they want to look at the spectral content of the flash itself. So they have a spectrometer there, but they have problems flashing it. So I'm working on a flash trigger circuit, which is, I've done a lot of kind of work on trigger circuits and that type of thing for my work in Los Alamos. I took some measurements for this photo, the transistor that I had, and it turns out that I can build this entire thing with an Arduino. So I don't know, you got $200,000 or $300,000 piece of equipment, and we're going to kind of piece it together for the $15 Arduino board. So I did that to about 5 o'clock, and then I had dinner with the family I'm staying with. And in the meantime, I got an email from Susan who said that Virgil has approved the MOU for the first distribution of the equipment lease. So the city is going to write a check for the lease of the equipment as outlined in the MOU. And that's a great thing. Thank you, Virgil, and the City of Montrose for supporting the Makerspace. I kind of learned about that at dinner. Then after dinner, went to, let me see, what did I have here? I went to a volleyball game with the family. Their daughter it was actually wasn't a game, it was practice. We went to volleyball practice. And so I kind of gave my friend down here, who I went to high school with, an update on kind of what I've been doing. And I met one of the people that's another father here at the volleyball team, and heard what he's been doing in his spare time. He's very much interested in black hat type work. Black hat, if you look on the internet, black hat's about computer security. So he was telling me some stories about things he's worked on in the past, and one of the things he worked on was eavesdropping on remote desktop protocol packets and reconstructing people's desktops and viewing those, and as a security deterrent, we'll say, he was taking the highlights of their screen sessions and setting them to Benny Hill music and then mixing those down and sending them back to the participants. This went on at the volleyball game tonight. That's what we talked about, was that kind of thing. I got back to where we were staying, and I got a message from Chris. He's a local ham in Montrose, and he's very much interested in helping set up the electronics workbench there at our makerspace, as well as teaching. And I ended the evening by taking Kern added some more course curriculum class titles that he would like to be involved in orchestrating, and I took all those and I put them on the education tab, and that's an additional 40 classes. So if you kind of count those up, I think we're over 100 classes that we'd like to teach. Now, do we have the instructors for those 40 classes? No. Do we know what's going to be in the 40 classes? No, not really. We know that the makers are going to want these classes, or just the general public to, attending a class at the makerspace is not tied to the class. Let me read you some of the things in general, I'll read you some the big areas. So we have the introduction, which is the I-100 class, and that's the everyone takes that. That's shop safety as well as some basic tools. Then we have our wood shop classes. We have our craft shop. Craft shop is 3D printer, laser cutter, SolidWorks, that kind of thing. Electronics shop, which is all the electronics classes. Metal shop, of course. And we have development shop. Development shop is where all the software development or firmware will actually be covered. And there's probably 20 classes there. We have all our STEM stuff, STEM coursework that we'd be working through the various educational aspects. We have our CMU Western Community College affiliation and the 2 classes that are being taught there. And then here's what I added tonight. Idea to prototype to pitch night, and there is 13 classes there. And then the next grouping is from pitch to planning, business setup, and marketing plan, and there's 5 classes in that area. The next one is business model / plan. There's 8 classes there. Next major grouping is management team. There's 5 classes in developing your management team, and there's 2 more. Financial plan. There's 6 classes there, and I don't know about any of this stuff, but Kern does. Here's some examples: defining capital requirements, defining time to break even profit and loss, and planning an exit. That topic is not really covered in the startup manual as planning your exit. And then the final one is legal and tax issues. There's 6 classes there. So we're developing our offerings there at the Makerspace, and if you're watching this and want to be part of that, go check out that tab. It's at makerspace.com, montrosemakerspace.com, and there's a tab in there that says education. You can click on that and look at those courses that we plan on offering. And if there's anything in there that you're interested in teaching, that would be great. We'd like to talk to you about potentially being a teacher at the Makerspace. Now, these aren't semester-long courses. They're more like 2 to 3 hours, maybe several evenings. Some of them might be long. We don't know that. Come in and tell us what types of things you'd like to teach. This is Montrose Makerspace Today for March the 4th, 2015.